Hey guys, guten Abend aus Deutschland, good evening from Germany. I'd rather not make this video, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and get it behind me because I don't want for another week to go by without me having uploaded here. I would like to keep you guys up to date on what is going on. But first off, let me address something from my other channel. I mentioned there that I ran into Johnny Depp. Well, actually, he ran into me. He came to the store. I was working, and so as a result of me giving that story time on my other channel, people asked me questions about what other celebrities I like and why, and I would like to do that here. Then I would like to do a quick recap of my life in the past few years for those of you that just got to my channel. And then I would like to give you an update on what's currently going on, which is a lot and it's hard to deal with. All right, so let's get started. The celebrities that I really admire and that I've been keeping tabs on for years on end, some of them even decades, are Keanu Reeves on the upper left here, Jim Carrey on the right, Joaquin Phoenix on the bottom left, Robert De Niro in the middle, and then Johnny Depp on the right. Now, you guys know that I'm interested in reading a lot of autobiographies because it really interests me to see how other people deal with their life. And so I've been reading a lot of them during the past few years, and I learned from each one of them. And but I talked about them, about Sting, Matthew McConaughey, and Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. And Matthew Perry, Chandler from Friends. Because I love when people my age take the time and sit down and actually try to make sense of what has happened to them. And when they manage to do that, it really interests me. And so Keanu Reeves, I was always interested in, even from Bill and Ted's Crazy Adventures or something like that, because of something in his eyes. And I felt that he would have like a remarkable way ahead of him, and that was actually true. And I don't want to get too much into detail. Maybe in the future I do separate videos on each one of them. But Keanu Reeves has been through a lot, and through it all, he never lost himself. He never stopped being grounded, and he's still approachable, and he doesn't, he's not arrogant about his status, and so that's why I love him, and I always try to find out more about him whenever something comes out. With Jim Carrey, it's basically the same. When I saw him in The Mask first, I think in 1995, I thought, wow, he has so much pain in his eyes. And later on, it turned out that he had at the time already gone through so much before he even became really famous. He had been through so much already with his parents and his father losing his job and stuff like that. But he always tried to make sense of what was happening to him, and that really attracted me to him as a person. Now, for all of them, I gotta tell you, I'm not physically attracted to them. It's never about sex for me. It's about their persona and how I would like to have, which I've been saying for years on my channel, how I would love to have a conversation with each one of them. I mean, either a cup of coffee or even be on a deserted island without any cameras or microphones for a couple of months. I don't care. I don't think we would run out of things to say. And so with Jim Carrey, it was always like how he tried to find out why certain things happened to him, and then he made sense of them and moved on and adjusted his path. And at no point in time did I think that Jim Carrey was crazy. When he showed up at interviews at that one fashion show or whatever, and in the aftermath, they tried to make fun of him and said that he lost it. And I don't think he's lost it. I think he's very much on the right path from where I stand. I mean, I could completely be on the wrong path. I don't know. But I really love how he's developed or evolved. and I wished he would write a book. But from what I understand, he is still dealing with a lot of things currently, and so he's just taken a step back out of the limelight, and I respect that. With Joaquin Phoenix, it's always to me like he looks like he's in so much pain, like he has so much going on in his head, and that attracts me because he seems to be a deep thinker, and I would like to find out more about him. I watched interviews and documentaries about the Joker, and it was so touching how he tried to really put life into that character. I was really impressed. I also loved him in the movie with Johnny Cash, how he tried to portray a very difficult, persona. I really loved that. And I've watched him in several interviews, and he always, or no, often he seems not so approachable, but I think it's because he has a wall up, because life is really getting to him, and he's admitted that before. With Robert De Niro, he played roles where I really thought, wow, how did he do that? One of them is in Cape Fear. I can't remember the character's name, but Cape Fear. And Bob said that he tried. No, he actually lived in a prison for a while, for a few weeks, to get a feel for that. And he also lost a lot of weight for that role and worked out a lot. And he had his teeth messed up on purpose for that movie, and then had him fixed again after the movie. And that to me was like, wow, what kind of dedication is that? So he found what he's actually passionate about, being an actor, giving life to certain characters, and, like really putting everything into it. And I really like that. Or for the part that he played in the movie Backdraft, which I loved him in that movie. He went to stay with a fire engine in New York City, I think for a few weeks too, to see, to live and breathe that job, to better um, be able to put life into that role that he was hired to play. And so, yeah, I also like that he never liked to be in the limelight all that much. He's like Johnny Depp in that way. He would just like to put um, his roles, in the movies, and then take a step back and not be famous anymore. And I really admire that about him because so many younger artists nowadays, actresses, and singers, they're just, you can tell they're just in it for the money and for the fame. And Bob De Niro never was, and I love that about him. And with Johnny Depp, I never liked him in 21 Jump Street, even though he stuck out to me because of his eyes, the intensity in his eyes. And recently I checked him out again. It was before the defamation trial with Amber Heard. I checked him out because he had been gone, always, it seemed to me like he always popped up, only every few years as Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And so, other than that, you didn't hear much of him. But the more I researched him, the more I learned that he's really struggled in his life from an early age on. I mean, in the trial with Amber Heard, we heard a lot about that. And I love how he's just trying to hold on for dear life. He says life is very hard to take for him unless he's under the influence of some substance. I can completely relate, even though I have dropped everything, alcohol, drugs, except for, nicotine. But that's not mind altering or personality altering. And so I can really relate to what he's going through, and I wished I could talk to him, all of them, all five of them. I wished I could, with each one of them, go somewhere and just have a conversation until we have no more to say. I would really love that. But yeah, so these are the five that stick out to me. Of course, they are the ones that always interested me, like Doris Day, Rock Hudson, James Stewart, and stuff like that. But most of them are dead, and so I'm just gonna let them go. Robert Mitchum, for example, I thought he was the shy kind of person, and in a recent, not so recent, it was a few months back, I watched a documentary about him, and he was not even all that shy. He was like he seems to me like a tree that was planted firmly in life, and he didn't care too much about what people think of him. He just went his way, and he was married for decades. I didn't know that. I thought he was always like the ladies' man. But yeah, so this pretty much concludes the first part I was talking about, and I really tried to talk fast and blow through my answer, but I'm at 11 minutes already, so I'm gonna cut it off here, and I see you in the next video, but I'm gonna keep recording, so they're gonna be uploaded back to back. So this concludes my answer concerning what celebrities I'm really interested in, and whom I would like to have deeper conversations. If I had to choose one, it would have to be Jim Carrey because of his spiritual uh, uh, evolution, that he's talked about in the past few years. And so, all right, I'm gonna cut it off, and I'll see you in my next video. Tschüssi. Bye.